about becoming a writer that makes other writers want to write better. I said it once, or maybe even twice, or practically even 14,000 times. I don't want to write another damn word about the colors of fall or how to look swell again in the season's new top items. I'd spent 2 years on the fashion pages, and they still had semi-pass. 2 Junior. I was 21 years old, practically middle-aged, and I was still 2 Junior. That's how I got my nickname. Ricky Reynolds started it. He was lending me a nickel, and he said, "There you go, 2 Junior." And it ain't stuck. Pretty soon I was going to go from 2 Junior to 2 Senior, with nothing in the middle to show for my talents. I wanted to be a serious writer, writing about serious things in a serious world. I wanted to put the high in Falton. I wanted to write articles with style and beauty and charisma, so that the Pulitzer Prize guys would say, "This little Tootsie is Rita Hayworth of print." I wanted in part people to say, "It reminds me of that line by, So Junior Jones." It was now or never. I couldn't wait for an opportunity to come tap me on the shoulder. No, sirree. I had to make an opportunity. So I went to the boss, and I begged and I pleaded. And yes, I even cried a couple of phony tears. And the boss said, "Get that derriere over to that overlay. Stop yapping and start tapping." And I took a deep breath. And I said, "Please, please, boss, take me up on the woman's pages and give me something I can sink my teeth into." The boss wasn't a stupid guy. I mean, you can't be stupid when you're running the newspaper of report. Although you can be a pain in the ass. And he hummed and he hawed. He leant back in his chair and stuck his feet on the desk. Finally, he looks at me and he says, "A profile, 800 words. And I thought, hell in for a penny. And I said, "Do not, under any circumstances, give me Dinah Washington or Paulette Gordon or some other dame who's going to talk about fame and riches. Give me something meaty." Right at the moment, the arts editor was passing the doorway of the boss's office. Terry Doyle, a nobody with the imagination of a paperclip. The boss called him in, and he came in and the boss said, "Who's on? What's happening?" And Terry the paperclip said, "Holiday's singing down at the Three Deuces on Thursday." And I looked right at the boss. I nodded. And the boss looked at me and he said, 800 words by Saturday. If it's any good, you got a new job. If it's no good, you're back on the hemlines. I was meeting down at the Hotel Braddock. When I got there, she was sitting at the bar and drinking a scotch. And she had a white fur coat slung over her shoulders that made her skin look like polished mahogany. "Miss Holliday, I'm from the Times." Nothing. "Miss Holliday, is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions?" Not a word. This great big silence descended over us. It was the biggest silence I have ever heard. And of course, it was happening to me. The kind of person who constantly missed good fortune by some completely random mischance. You know, I should have married my prom date, Larry Travis, who became head of the most richest pharmaceutical companies in America. Only on the day he asked me, he was chewing a steak with his mouth open, and I decided I couldn't sit across the table from him for the next 40 years looking at his molars. So the fact that I had to write 800 words on a woman who may have been the greatest jazz singer of all time, but who couldn't or who wouldn't talk, made perfect sense. I tried again. "Miss Holliday, it is a real privilege to have the chance to talk to you today. I'll never forget the first time I heard strange fruit. Southern trees, there's a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the roots, like that is swinging in the southern trees. fading in the background, while my future was disappearing in the cigarette smoke. I had a sudden need to rush out and hail a cab from the Brooklyn Bridge, where I'd climb the balustrade, my Mary Janes, and plunge myself into the East River. Other things happen to other people. Why not to me? Was I waiting for a telegram from the board to chance saying, "Made a mistake, Stwop. Realized you were meant to be a hotshot, Stwop." So I said to myself, "You get right back up in that ring, Miss Junior Jones." And I said, "Miss Holliday, if you don't want to talk to me, that makes perfect sense. And it's certainly not your problem that if I don't get this interview with you, that I'm never going to get off the goddamn fashion pages, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life writing about headlines until I drop dead on the floor." I realized she was staring at me. You're kind of young to be out in the world talking to people, ain't you? And she laughed and she laughed. And then she talked. I told her my nickname was Stu Junior. I can see why you're not a jazz singer then. And I said, "You seem to have been young for everything. Has that caused you problems?" "Nothing has caused me problems. My life's been one big problem. But hell, Stu Junior. What do happy people sing about?" 1959. I was sitting on my desk when someone yelled out that Billie Holiday had died. The profile was excellent, if I do say so myself. And I got a senior position right for features. Was sent me to cover the funeral, but I would have gone anyway. Was it the white powder that killed her? I don't know. What I do know is that people like her find trouble. Because trouble is the only place that welcomes them. No, I'm sorry. I just can't really put it into words right now. Billie Holiday was buried in an unmarked grave in the Bronx. Terry Doyle who paid to those who wanted a stone. Did you ever stop to think that Billie might say, "Get that goddamn stone off me. I've been carrying too much weight all my life." If I took a notion to go into the ocean, ain't nobody's business if I do. If I go to church on a Sunday, then cabaret all day Monday.